ESPN's Courtney Cronin is reporting about the Bears coaching search, just as everyone else is. And she mentions 3 names of potential head coach candidates. I want to dive into each one of those here on today's show. My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. Before we dive into all of that, subscribe to the channel. We crossed 110,000 subs, trying to get to 111,000. Listen, we're going to be doing videos on this coaching search. We're still covering this season. Thomas Brown, the players, back in the building today. So we'll have an update video this afternoon as they get their preparations going for San Francisco. No stone unturned here on Chicago Bears Now. We're covering it all. Join the movement, join the family. Videos every single day for 100% free. The first coach she talked about was Thomas Brown. Courtney Cronin mentioning that Brown will be, quote, considered among the candidates, close quote, to be the next Bears head coach. And listen, I like Thomas Brown. I think this is a real opportunity for Thomas Brown. I think this should be a real opportunity for Thomas Brown to prove that he can be the permanent guy. Because listen, there's a couple of things to consider here. One, the Bears made the mistake when they brought back Matt Eberflus of getting back into the same cycle. Draft a quarterback in the first round, keep a lame duck head coach, doesn't work out for lame duck head coach, new head coach by year 2. So you've already done that. But you can kind of mitigate that if you keep Thomas Brown, right? Because then you're going into the offseason with an offensive guy that Caleb Williams is comfortable with. I think this is a real opportunity for Brown. Now, obviously, he's going to have to earn the job, right? Like, this isn't just a, no matter what happens, we're going to make him the guy. Like, if the Bears go 1-4 and there's some situational things that he does poorly, they're probably going to go in a different direction, and they probably should go in a different direction. But I do think that this is a situation where if he shows you that he can handle those situations better, if this team plays hard for him, if the players rally behind him, then that would be tempting, because Ryan Poles has talked about we're going to get out of this cycle. Well, you didn't the moment you brought back Matt Eberflus and it didn't work out. You want to line up the quarterback? If Thomas Brown earns it and Caleb's comfortable with this guy and the players like him, maybe, just maybe, you've got your current head coach, not only for the interim, but for the long term as well. How many wins does Thomas Brown need over the final 5 weeks to be the long-term answer? Like, what does he have to do? Does he have to go 5-0? Does he have to go 4-1, 3-2? Context, I would think, certainly matters of how these games go. You let me know, out of 5 games remaining, how many does he need to win to be the permanent guy? And before we get to the next 2 candidates, let's get a word in from our sponsor, Turtle Beach. Thanks so much to today's sponsor, Turtle Beach, the best gaming headsets and accessories out there. It was the night before Christmas, and under the tree, a gift was waiting, one that would change every game from then on. Trust me. Remember what it felt like to unwrap your very first gaming headset? That joy, that thrill of plugging it in and stepping into a whole new world. Get that same experience all over again with the Turtle Beach Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset. This is more than just a gift. It's the ultimate throwback to those holiday mornings spent gaming from dawn to dusk, but this time it's even better. No more tiny mics or muffled sound, just crystal clear audio, immersive surround sound, and an insane 80-hour battery life that you can keep the fun going long after the Christmas lights come down this holiday season. Whether it's for the gamer in your life or yourself, Turtle Beach has the cheat code for the best gift of the year. For a limited time only, get 10% off at turtlebeach.com/chat. Use code chat to get 10% off. A limited time only with Turtle Beach. Check out their other accessories as well. Don't wait. Now is the time. turtlebeach.com/chat. Code chat to get 10% off with Turtle Beach, especially that Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset. Link is in the comments and in the description. Code chat at turtlebeach.com/chat for 10% off. The next name is a popular name among Bears fans and in NFL circles. That, of course, is one Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator. He's the trendy, hot name out there right now, not just for Bears fans, but across the NFL. And understandably, I'm right there with you. I've had him number 1 on my list. I think that he's been a part of a winning culture in Detroit for the last few years. You would hope that Dan Campbell's kind of natural leadership, galvanization ability has rubbed off on him when it comes to Ben Johnson. Obviously, I don't think there's much question about his leadership skill, or not his leadership skills, his offensive acumen and play calling. The one big question is, can he lead an entire football team, or is this just a guy that can call awesome plays with a stacked roster? Because the Bears' offensive line isn't the Lions' offensive line. Even if they invest this offseason, which I would expect they will, it probably won't be as good as Detroit's, at least not right away. Now, I think skill position-wise, it's pretty good. You've got DJ Moore and Rome Odunze under contract for the foreseeable future. We'll see if Keenan Allen comes back. I don't think your running backs are as good, but I think it's more than serviceable with DeAndre Swift and some other, and Roschon Johnson. Maybe you add a name to the mix there, and hopefully you do beef up this offensive line. And more than all of that, Caleb Williams is a very talented quarterback that Ben Johnson can work with. But the big question that the Bears would need answered when it comes to Ben Johnson is, can he lead the entire group? Is he a natural leader? And we keep hearing leader of men, which I think is one of these overused cliche phrases, but obviously you need that. You need a guy that players believe in, not just on the whiteboard, but as a leader. I think when it came to Matt Eberflus, especially by the end, but probably at points throughout his tenure, did they really rally around this guy? Did they really, truly believe in him that, hey, when push comes to shove, when our backs are against the wall, this guy's going to be a difference maker and he's going to help us win? For sure, by the end, they did not believe. And the evidence, the proof is in the pudding, if you will. But at the same time, you got to find that. Like, who is Ben Johnson? That, as much as I love Ben Johnson, he's my top guy, but I'm not interviewing these candidates. I'm not getting. It's like the Shane Waldron thing. I was cool with that hire. I liked it. He had experience and ran some good offenses in Seattle, but he had Pete Carroll, who could be the alpha, the leader in that building. If you knew after 5 minutes of listening to Shane Waldron talk, like, he's going to connect with Caleb Williams, I don't know about this. So Ben Johnson not only has to connect with Caleb, he's got to be able to reach out to the entire team and be a galvanizer. So that's the question you have to answer as an organization when it comes to the consideration of Ben Johnson as this team's next head coach. And that's up to the Bears, Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren, to figure out if he could fit that bill. And then that gets us to the last name Courtney Cronin mentioned, and that is Kliff Kingsbury, saying that they want to interview him as well. He, of course, interviewed for the offensive coordinator job this past offseason. They went with Shane Waldron. We all know the rest of the story. It's a tough one with Kliff, because I've always liked Kliff as an offensive guy, but you can't dismiss his offenses seemingly getting figured out by the middle of the season, teams adjusting, and him not counter-adjusting. Now, one thing Kliff has done, and I think if you look over his offenses over different years, he tweaks it. He does a lot of work in the offseason to add more wrinkles and to add more things to his offense and tweaking to his player personnel. And he deserves credit for that. He seems to struggle in the middle of seasons with doing that, which is why you get to this trend by late October, early November, teams adjust, and his ability to counter-adjust just does not seem to be there when it comes to Kliff Kingsbury, which gives me reservations. Now, last week, Washington put together a really good offensive plan. They blew out Tennessee. I'm open-minded to seeing how the rest of the season goes. Maybe he's able to counter-adjust and take this offense to a new level. But I do have reservations for that when it comes to his offense. But also, like, does he fit that natural leader type of billing, or is he more of just an offensive guy? I don't know. Obviously, he's been a head coach both in the NFL and in college, but the results have been mixed, to say the least. So I get he's Caleb's guy. I think he's someone you should talk to. I think we really need to watch the final several weeks of the season here in Washington to see how he calls these games, how he gets Jaden going again, and if Washington can start stacking some wins again like they were earlier in the year. Because before last week against Tennessee, this thing was kind of falling off the rails. It was like, are they going to collapse again under a Kliff-led team? I know he's not the head coach, but he would be the head coach in this situation. So I've got big reservations. As of now, I wouldn't give him much consideration. I think they should interview him. He's one of Caleb's guys. I don't think there's downside there, but he would not be at the top of my list at this point in time. All right. Those are three guys Courtney Cronin mentioned. Obviously, there's been all kinds of reports with other names. We'll continue to cover that as well. Did a full segment on Belichick yesterday. Albert Breer throwing his name out there. So check that out. I want to know from you guys, question of the day, really question of the next month or two. Who do you want? Who do you want to be the next Chicago Bears head football coach? Let us know in the comment section down below who that person is in your eyes. And hopefully they get it right, because they cannot afford to miss. My name is Harrison Graham. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we'll hear from Thomas Brown, some of the players, including Caleb Williams today at Hallis Hall. So we'll have a video later this afternoon. We'll be back live tomorrow at 4 o'clock Central Time. And then we're on to San Francisco. Big game coming up on Sunday as Thomas Brown's audition truly begins. Hit that subscribe button on the way out if you haven't already. It's 100% free. We'll see you guys soon here on Bears Now.